It Chapter 2. Yes, I'm reviewing all the It movies and lead up to Welcome to Derry coming out. Um, which I feel like watching all these movies did kind of actually make me less excited about that. But yeah, before I get into this review, I do have a review for the first It movie and the Tim Curry miniseries. So if you want those reviews, check those out. But yeah, let's get into this movie. So I actually really like a lot in this movie, which last time I watched this movie, I was very negative on it. Because this movie is, first of all, 3 hours. I mean, it's 2 hours, 50 minutes, but let's be real, it's 3 hours. And this movie is not great. It is a very flawed movie with a lot to offer in it. Let me explain. So let's start with what I liked, and then we'll get into the negatives here. I like a lot of the adult casting because this is the part of the story that is not very loved by a lot of people because it's of the adult side of the story. I think it's necessary to have the adult side of the story, and there's a lot that the adult side of the story has to offer. Like, for example, the actors playing the adults in this part of the story are great. They really match their kids' counterparts for the most part. There's a couple of them I think that weren't like as perfect as I imagined, but for the most part they all really worked in their roles, had a lot to offer, and they really gave these great performances of people who are dealing with the trauma of their childhood. That's these stories are its story is about trauma. It's about childhood trauma, and then the latter part of the story is about adult trauma and what it looks like when you take that trauma that you have as a child and take that into your adulthood and how you deal with that trauma. And so, Pennywise is a metaphor for that, and I think they really tap into that at some really great scenes in this movie. As well as the kids' flashbacks are great. There's, flashbacks to when they're kids. Some of the scary scenes are great in this movie. We'll talk about that more in the negatives, but there's some decent ones here that I think actually are quite effective, honestly. I just think I think that's it, honestly, with the positives. Now let's get into the bad. This movie is way too long of a movie. It feels so long because some of it allows you to sit with the characters, which is great. I feel like, a lot of people complain about that with Return of the King being as long as it is. I'm like, it earns that. You're sitting with those characters. You're getting a great finale. Here, some of that is true. Like, I do enjoy some of the longer scenes with characters. But when I'm watching these horror scenes and it's jump scare, and it's just going on forever, you tune the fuck out. And it really happens in this movie for me. I just can't with some of these scenes. However, I do not hate the jump scares overall. Because, like I said, there's a couple of them that were effective. I just think that they need to be toned down. This movie at best should have been 2 hours, 15 minutes. And it's 2 hours, 50. And a lot of it is length that just does not need to be there. So I love scenes and elements of this movie quite a bit. And I'm really wishing this movie could have really stuck the landing a little bit better and just tighten up that runtime, cut down on some of the jump scare bullshit, and this movie would have worked so much more because the stuff I love here really works. But it's like the Hobbit movies. There are scenes in this movie that I really love, but they're not worth watching ever again to sit through that fucking ridiculous ass runtime for no good reason. And I honestly think Warner Brothers regrets making this movie as long as it did because obviously this film made, I think it made less money than the first, which, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have lost a lot less repeat viewings. Movie's not as good. So yeah, I don't know. I liked it, but flawed.